A calm wolf terrifies the forest more than a roaring lion because it hunts in silence and strikes without warning. They don't hate you because you did something wrong. They hate you because you didn't play their game. They came with fire and fury, and you showed up with silence. They threw chaos at you, and you smiled like it was rain. You didn't flinch, you didn't engage, and that shook them to their core. You need to understand something right now. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the force behind you, the quiet power the universe wrapped around your shoulders when it saw what you carry. You're not just some person walking through the world unnoticed. You are chosen. And whether you've accepted it or not, that energy carries weight. It disturbs the fake. It exposes the hidden. It tears through masks like wind through smoke. Before we go deeper, stop what you're doing. Like this video and hit subscribe, not just for you, but for others walking this same path. When you interact with this message, you signal to YouTube to show it to more of the chosen, those who feel the shift, those who feel different but can't explain why. Help this message reach the ones still waking up. Now listen close. The truth is, you were marked by the universe long before they knew your name. That quiet confidence you carry, that ability to walk away without a single ounce of regret. That's not indifference, it's power. It's the kind of power people don't recognize at first, so they fear it. And what people fear, they try to destroy or discredit. That's why they gossip. That's why they play the victim. That's why they throw shade and call it concern. But you didn't fold, you didn't react. And when they realized they couldn't control you emotionally, they got mad. Not because you're cold, but because you're free. And freedom is offensive to people who are slaves to their own ego. You need to stop doubting your light. Stop thinking you're alone. That lie, that thought in your head telling you no one gets it, that you're too different, too distant, too much. That's not your voice. That's their fear talking. That's the echo of every insecure person who couldn't figure you out and decided to blame you for it. You've mistaken isolation for abandonment, when really, the universe was clearing space. You were never abandoned, you were being positioned. People don't hate you, they hate what your presence reveals about them. Your calmness, it's a mirror. Your silence, it's a spotlight. Your detachment, that's divine rebellion against emotional slavery. You walked away from the games they thought no one could escape from. You detached, and in doing so, you declared war on manipulation without saying a word. And here's the part that haunts them the most. You didn't just walk away, you glowed up. You got quieter, stronger, more focused. That's what's killing them. They thought you'd come back. They thought you needed their chaos to feel alive. But you found peace, and peace is louder than any drama they could ever throw at you. The power of being chosen doesn't show up with loud entrances. It arrives through endurance, through resilience, through the ability to keep your soul clean in a world that rewards filth. They don't know what you are because what you are can't be explained with surface words. You're not detached because you don't care. You're detached because you do care, just not about nonsense. So next time they come at you sideways, remember this. They're not fighting you. They're fighting the universe that chose you, and that's a fight they'll never win. So if you're feeling that familiar pull, that quiet knowing deep in your gut, you're not here by accident. Drop the number 77 in the comments if your detachment has been misunderstood, if your silence has been mistaken for weakness. This message is coded for the real ones, and the deeper we go, the more you'll see just how rare your energy is. They don't know what you are, but after this, you will. Stay locked in. If you're truly chosen, you won't be able to look away. Number 1. They tried to clip your wings because your silence made too much noise. You didn't need a throne to threaten them. Your very presence was a rebellion they couldn't control. So listen, chosen one. They didn't whisper behind your back because you were weak. They did it because your silence was louder than their noise, and your distance exposed their desperation. You walked in with nothing but calm energy and a clear soul, and they treated it like a threat, because it was one. Let's stop pretending they were ever playing fair. They weren't dealing with you. They were trying to rewrite your story before you could even tell it. Passive-aggressive comments, twisted conversations, half smiles laced with envy. They called you cold when you stopped entertaining chaos. They labeled you arrogant when you finally chose your peace over their nonsense. But you've got to see it for what it was, a carefully designed trap. Not to destroy your reputation, but to break your rhythm. Because your stillness, it scared them. Your ability to detach without begging, without chasing, without explaining, that shook them. You were supposed to react. You were supposed to crumble under pressure, fall into their web, and dance to their tune. But you didn't. And so, they escalated. They turned to gossip, distortion, and silent sabotage. Not because you did anything, but because you didn't do what they expected. You didn't shrink. You didn't defend. You didn't explain yourself to people who were never listening in the first place. And now you wonder, why me? Why do they keep targeting me? Why does it feel like I'm walking alone? Here's the brutal truth. You're not walking alone. You're being walked ahead. The universe doesn't align itself with just anyone. You've been pulled out of the crowd, not because you don't belong, but because you've outgrown their noise. You don't fit because you're not meant to. And yes, that isolation cuts. Yes, it feels personal. But the isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. They weren't just playing with your name, they were playing with the system, trying to cheat fate by making you question what was already yours, trying to dim your light before it hit full beam. But that light, it's not up for debate. You were chosen before they even knew your name, and their opinion has no bearing on your position. Don't sit there doubting yourself. Don't start questioning your value because the room got quiet when you walked in. That silence, that's the universe rearranging energy. That discomfort in the air, that's your frequency disrupting theirs. You are not the problem. You are the shift. You are not being avoided. You are being distanced strategically because your presence demands realness and they only know how to perform. You ever notice how they try to isolate you right when you're starting to glow different? Invitations disappear, conversations dry up, people act off. That's not coincidence. That's fear, disguised as exclusion. They think if they push you far enough out, you'll come crawling back, hungry for their validation, desperate for inclusion. But the real ones don't beg for tables they were meant to flip. You were never meant to fit in a space where truth had to shrink just to survive. So let them twist your calm into coldness. Let them call your detachment ego. It's not. It's survival. It's elevation. It's the mark of someone who's done explaining peace to people who worship conflict. And here's the part they'll never admit. They miss your energy, even as they slander your name. They crave your presence, even while trying to erase your image, because deep down, they know you were never meant to stay small. You were never one of them. You were just nearby. Chosen ones, stop doubting your own selection. Stop pacing your room, thinking you've been left behind. The universe doesn't forget its own. And if you're being pulled away, it's because you're being positioned where the noise can't reach. You're not invisible. You're inaccessible, and there's a difference. You're not alone. You're in alignment. Yes, they're trying to isolate you, but they don't understand. Solitude is your strength. not your weakness. They think they've cut you off, but all they did was cut themselves off from access to what they couldn't manipulate. That's not your loss. That's theirs. So hold your ground. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them stew in the silence you left behind. Because here's what they can't stomach. You're not broken, bitter, or begging. You're better. And better without them hurts more than anything you could have said. Don't look back. Don't explain. Don't try to clarify truth for ears that never planned to hear it. You're not here to be understood by the shallow. You're here to stand unshaken, even when the ground beneath everyone else is trembling. And the next time you feel the sting of being pushed out, remember this. When the universe chooses you, it will isolate you to upgrade you. It will clear rooms, cut ties, and shift energy, not to hurt you, but to protect what you're about to become. Your detachment is not just a boundary, it's a signal, it's a warning. It says, this one can't be played with. This one answers to a higher calling. So stop shrinking, stop questioning, start owning the silence, start respecting the distance. That quiet path, that's the chosen path, and you're walking it for a reason. They don't know what you are, but soon they will. Number 2, they keep throwing storms at you because your silence refuses to shake. When they can't touch your peace, they try to burn the ground around you, hoping you'll jump into the fire just to prove you're alive. So listen, chosen one, you've probably noticed by now, it's not just the cold shoulders or the whispered lies. When they realize they can't get inside your head quietly, they start lighting fires in plain sight. The moment your detachment proves unshakable, they shift gears. Subtle manipulation wasn't enough. Now they want a reaction, a loud one, a messy one, a human one. But here's what they can't stand. You won't give it to them. Understand this. These outbursts, this drama, these sudden emergencies that conveniently drag your name into chaos. That's not coincidence. It's not miscommunication. It's war disguised as confusion. It's strategy. A last-ditch effort to pull you off your path and back into the circus where they thrive. They'll stir conflict where there is none. Twist words, fabricate problems, trigger old wounds, all to create emotional chaos around you. Because they know something most people don't. The chosen operate differently. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to prove your power. Your stillness alone is disruptive enough. And that terrifies them. You see, they're not trying to win an argument. They're trying to make you lose your center, and they'll come for it all. Your beliefs, your values, your identity. They'll bait you with lies that are just close enough to the truth to force you to want to explain. They'll poke at your character, daring you to step out of line, just so they can say, "See, you're no better than us." But don't fall for it. You weren't chosen to entertain fools. You weren't marked by the universe just to play tug-of-war with people who can't control their own chaos. You weren't given this detachment, this sharp clarity, just to throw it all away in a battle that was never yours to fight in the first place. They want your energy. That's what this is all about. They're addicted to your energy and angry that you're no longer pouring it into their black hole of attention-seeking. They need your reaction to feel real. But when you give them nothing, when you walk away, eyes calm, heart steady, they spiral. You think they're acting out because they're emotional, but it's deeper than that. They're desperate. Your silence feels like judgment to them. Your ability to walk away looks like power they'll never have. Your refusal to be baited is a reminder that their control is gone. And here's the thing, chosen one, they're not just testing your patience, they're testing your identity. They want to know if your peace is performance or real, if your calm is a mask or a lifestyle. They want to know if that detachment you talk about is sturdy enough to hold when they flip every emotional switch around you. They'll even mimic emergencies, make everything seem urgent so your instinct to protect kicks in. But don't be fooled. Their goal isn't resolution, it's domination. They want to drag you into their storm so they can watch you drown in what they built. So they can say, "See, you're just like us." But you're not. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not detached. You're disciplined. You're not silent because you're scared. You're silent because you've learned that not every battle deserves your sword. The universe didn't choose you because you fight well. It chose you because you know when not to fight at all. You're here to hold your ground in the middle of chaos and not flinch. That's power. That's what real energy feels like. Solid, still, unbothered. And trust me, they feel it. That's why they're screaming louder, pressing harder, getting more reckless. Because their tricks don't work anymore. Because their games are now see-through. You are the still point in their spinning world. And the fact that they can't throw you off balance, it haunts them. Don't question your approach. Don't ask if maybe you should have said something, done something, defended yourself. That's not your path anymore. You've evolved past explaining your peace to people who only speak chaos. You've outgrown the noise. And the next time they come throwing storms in your direction, let them rage. Let them twist. Let them spiral. But you stay still, because stillness is the language of the chosen, and only the chosen know how to speak it under pressure. Number 3, the louder they scream, the more your silence becomes a weapon. Still waters cut deeper than crashing waves, because they hide no performance, only power. And listen, chosen one, there's something about stillness that drives them insane. Not the lazy kind, not the indifferent kind. We're talking about that calm that comes from knowing who you are. That deep, unshakable stillness that whispers, "I don't need to react to prove I exist." That's the kind of energy they can't copy, and more importantly, they can't control. So they start scrambling. First, it's small, passive-aggressive jokes, sideways comments, trying to bait you with subtle jabs. But when you don't flinch, when you blink once and keep it moving, that's when the real panic sets in. Because people who feed off chaos need one thing to survive: your reaction. And when you don't give it, it exposes them. So what do? They escalate. They raise the volume, raise the stakes, and lower their character. They throw heavier words, make it more personal, twist it deeper, hoping that just once you'll snap. Just once you'll crack the image of calm you've worked so hard to build. But they don't understand. Your stillness isn't a mask. It's armor. You've been through too much, survived too much, grown too far to be shaken by people whose only weapon is noise. They don't even realize that the more they try, the more they reveal themselves. Because desperation has a sound, and it's loud, clumsy, and obvious. Every failed attempt to move you, that's a mirror reflecting right back at them. And the reflection they see, it's ugly. Not because of you, but because of everything they tried to hide behind manipulation, drama, and ego. You see, chosen ones don't just resist chaos, they unmask it. Simply by not engaging, you force people to face themselves, and they hate you for that. Because it's easier to blame you than to admit they're losing control of a game they invented. But here's the power play they didn't expect. You don't need to win arguments. You don't need to shout over anyone. Your silence says everything. Your refusal to respond speaks volumes. While they swing wild, hoping to knock you off balance, you're standing in a place they can't even reach, centered, and let's be real, holding your peace in the face of pressure. That's not weakness, that's discipline, that's power, that's mastery. Anyone can yell, anyone can throw a fit, but to stay still, to choose silence when everything in you could explode, that's a level of self-possession most people will never touch. So when they say you've changed, when they say you're too quiet, too distant, or acting different, take it as confirmation. You're not who you used to be. You're not here to entertain emotional chaos or validate people's need to feel dominant through drama. You've chosen a higher path, and that decision alone breaks their grip. And let's talk about what really scares them. It's not just that their drama didn't work. It's that in failing, they realize they never had real power over you to begin with. That it was all smoke, all performance. You were never under their control. You were just too kind, too patient, too generous with your energy before. But now, you see it. You see through the act. And worse, for them, you're not angry about it. You're not bitter. You're indifferent. And nothing destroys manipulators faster than the realization that you don't care enough to fight. Your detachment is clean, surgical. It cuts ties without bloodshed. And that kind of separation, that kind of peace, it leaves people haunted because it's the type they can't recreate. It's not fake. It's not forced. It's earned. So hold the line. When they get louder, you get quieter. When they get reckless, you get still. Because stillness is a stance. It's not passive. It's defiant. It's standing in the eye of the storm and refusing to move. It's power in its most raw, unfiltered form. Remember, they want chaos, not because it solves anything, but because it hides their fear. Don't help them hide it. Let their behavior speak for itself. Let their noise echo unanswered. Let their tantrums collapse under their own weight. You're not here to argue with clowns. You're not here to explain your boundaries. You're here to stay grounded, stay focused, and stay unshaken. The ones who scream the loudest when you stay silent are the same ones who once fed on your energy. They're starving now. That's not your fault. That's their karma. So next time they try to shake your stillness, remember this. Your peace is not the absence of chaos, it's the rejection of it. And nothing makes the insecure more furious than realizing you've mastered the one thing they never could, yourself. Number 4. When they can't control you, they rename you. They couldn't handle your presence, so they tried to kill your character. But you're not what they call you. You're what you keep standing through. So, chosen one, let's talk about the smear campaign, the name-calling, the subtle digs, the bold accusations. Because once your detachment doesn't break, once your silence holds steady and your energy stays yours, they pull the next card. The oldest trick in the book. Labels. Cold-hearted, aloof, arrogant, too quiet, too distant, too much, not enough. These aren't descriptions, these are defense mechanisms. Their pride is burning under your calm, and instead of dealing with the fire inside them, they try to throw that heat back onto you. But let's get one thing straight. These labels aren't a reflection of who you are. They're a reflection of how deeply they feel your absence. When people can't control your emotions, they try to control your image. If they can't rattle you, they'll try to rewrite you. But what they don't realize is that chosen ones don't crumble under character assassination. We get sharper, stronger, clearer. Every name they hurl at you is a confession, a projection, a message they wrote to themselves and stamped with your face because they couldn't stand the mirror your peace held up to them. You set boundaries, and they called it betrayal. You stopped engaging in their drama, and they called you distant. You outgrew the chaos, and they called you arrogant. No, what they really meant was, I can't access you anymore, and it terrifies me. They were comfortable with the version of you that over-explained, overgave, over-apologized, the version that shrunk yourself to keep their egos inflated. But now that version is gone. You reclaimed your time, your attention, your energy. And instead of clapping for your evolution, they started a narrative war to dirty your name and soothe their own pride. But listen closely. When you've been chosen by the universe, there's a glow you carry that unsettles the ones still stuck in their own shadows. They don't understand your detachment because they've never experienced real emotional freedom. They're addicted to reaction. They feed off drama. So your peace feels like rejection. Your silence feels like judgment. And your boundaries? Like betrayal. But boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. They're clarity. They're a declaration of self-respect that says, I no longer allow what drains me to define me. You want to know why it stings them so bad, because you stopped giving them access to the version of you that made their dysfunction feel normal. And now they have to face themselves, and they hate that, so they spin it. They grab the easiest words they can find to throw at you like stones, hoping one will stick, hoping you'll flinch, hoping you'll come back to defend yourself. Don't. Let them speak. Let them label. Let them paint you as the villain in a story you never asked to be in. Because the truth is, your growth demands misinterpretation. The moment you stop playing small, people who benefited from your silence will accuse you of everything but honesty. But that's not your concern. Your job is to keep walking in truth, to hold your peace, to let your actions, your calm, and your refusal to break speak louder than any label ever could. And chosen one, here's what you need to stop doing. Stop doubting yourself just because someone misunderstood your strength. Your detachment is not cruelty, it's clarity. Your silence is not arrogance, it's awareness. Your distance is not coldness, it's evolution. Let them call you whatever helps them sleep at night. You're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to move with purpose, not permission. And if your detachment sets fire to their insecurities, that's not your fault. It's their invitation to heal. You were never meant to be understood by those still addicted to chaos. So stop watering yourself down so they'll stop calling you too much. Stop offering explanations for boundaries they never respected. And stop thinking their labels have the power to define you. They don't even understand you, let alone define you. And here's the kicker. They know deep down those words don't fit. But if they can convince others to believe it, maybe they won't have to face the truth. That the real reason you pulled away wasn't hate, it was healing. And they couldn't follow you into it. So the next time you hear that you're hard, cold, different, smile. Because you are. You're harder to access, colder to manipulation, and different from the version of yourself they thought would never leave. And that's progress. Let them talk, let them twist, let them project. But you keep standing in the truth they're too afraid to face. You didn't change the story, you just stopped playing the role they assigned you. Number 5, they project what they can't process and call it truth. They don't hate you, they hate what they feel when you walk in the room without needing them. So listen, chosen one. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, they got loud. Not because you were wrong, but because they needed you to feel wrong. Not because they saw truth, but because your detachment forced them to face theirs, and they couldn't handle it. So what do? They project. They throw their shadows at you and hope you'll wear them like a second skin. Arrogant, cold, too much, changed. But let's call it what it really is. A desperate attempt to drag you back into the emotional mud they're still stuck in. It's not that they believe the labels they throw, it's that they need you to believe them. Because if you do, they win. They get access. They get control. They get to feel powerful again. They call you arrogant, hoping you'll break your peace to prove your humility. They call you cold, hoping you'll lower your boundaries just to show you care. They call you fake, hoping you'll crumble, trying to prove how real you are. But the truth, these aren't honest reflections. These are projections, and projection is the weapon of the insecure. They can't admit their fear, so they mock your confidence. They can't face their dependence, so they ridicule your independence. They can't reach your level, so they try to shame you into stepping down. You are not the villain in their story. You're the mirror. And mirrors don't lie, they reflect. That's what really hurts them. Your presence reflects back everything they've been trying to avoid. Your peace screams over their chaos. Your detachment spotlights their addiction to control. And instead of healing, they want to punish you for exposing what they're too afraid to face within themselves. They think they're telling the world who you are, but all they're doing is telling on themselves. Every accusation is actually a confession. Arrogant? No. That's what they feel when they're threatened by someone who doesn't beg. Cold? No. That's what they feel when they realize their manipulation has no access anymore. Fake? No. That's their mask slipping when your authenticity shows up without apology. They want to give you a burden you never earned. They want to shift the emotional weight off themselves and onto you, so you'll carry the guilt, the shame, the need to make it right. But you don't owe anyone your emotional labor. You've done the work. You've faced your demons. And now they want you to carry theirs. No. Let them sit with the discomfort they created. Every time they throw another label, every time they whisper another insult behind your back, what they're really saying is, I can't touch you anymore, and it's driving me insane. You've become untouchable, not because you're perfect, but because you've stopped letting their insecurities rent space in your head. You stopped apologizing for growing. You stopped shrinking to fit places that couldn't hold your energy, and that's exactly why they're spiraling. Your detachment? That's power. Not the loud, performative kind. The real kind. The kind that doesn't flinch when challenged. The kind that chooses silence over spectacle. The kind that doesn't need an audience, only alignment. And chosen one, if you ever find yourself questioning, maybe I am being too distant, maybe I should explain, stop. You're not here to carry anyone else's projections. You're not here to soothe egos that get wounded by your boundaries. You're not here to apologize for standing in a space they've never had the courage to claim for themselves. Your job is to protect your peace, even when that peace makes others uncomfortable, especially when it does. You were chosen not to fit into the dysfunction, but to disrupt it. And the moment you detached, the moment you said no more, the moment you moved in silence, they felt it. That pressure, that shift in energy, that was the universe aligning behind you, and they know it, even if they'll never say it. So let them project, let them label, let them twist the story. But you don't flinch, you don't explain, you don't perform emotional CPR on people who flatline themselves trying to manipulate you. You keep your energy clear, your focus sharp, your detachment sacred. Because the truth is, your stillness is screaming truths they've spent their whole lives avoiding. And every time they try to throw dirt on your name, just remember, dirt only proves you're planted. And now you're growing in a direction they can't follow. Number 6, your detachment didn't hurt them, it exposed them. The most dangerous energy in a chaotic world is the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, and doesn't need to be understood. So, chosen one, they don't fear you because you're loud, they fear you because you're silent. They don't hate your detachment because it's cold, they hate it because it's clean. No mess, no begging, no emotional ransom, just distance, sharp, controlled, unapologetic. And that kind of power shatters illusions. You've probably heard the line, "You changed." But let's translate that into truth. You're no longer controllable. You're no longer reactive. You no longer need their approval to breathe. Your detachment, your calm, centered refusal to dance to their dysfunction, is the loudest truth they've ever faced. Not because you're attacking, but because you stopped engaging. And nothing crushes the insecure faster than realizing their games no longer work on you. They thrived off your reactions. Every emotion you gave them, every explanation, every time you tried to make it right, it fed their illusion of control. But now, you're unreachable, and your silence echoes louder than any argument ever could. Let's be clear, your detachment is not passive. It's resistance, the kind that shakes foundations, the kind that Joan of Arc embodied when she refused to bow to what was expected. She didn't become a threat because she was violent. She became a threat because she couldn't be moved by fear, guilt, or the opinions of the mob. Like her, you've become a symbol of resistance. And in a world addicted to validation, addicted to attention, addicted to emotional puppeteering, your ability to stay grounded is dangerous. You don't give people their emotional fix anymore. You don't respond to bait. You don't argue with people trying to pull you back into cycles you've outgrown. That detachment, it's a mirror, and when insecure people look into it, they don't see you, they see everything they're not. Because you've become what they can't fake, emotionally stable, energetically sovereign, unbothered by noise because you've tuned into peace. They call it arrogance. They say you think you're better. But the truth is, they wish they had your level of control, your discipline, your ability to choose silence when every part of your old self would have screamed. They envy it, but pride won't let them say it. So instead, they attack it. You've become what exposes them, and that's why they can't look away. You're not detaching because you don't care. You're detaching because you do. You care about your mental clarity, your spirit, your alignment. You care enough about your peace to protect it, even when it makes other people uncomfortable. And yes, that makes people angry, because your very existence now becomes a trigger. Your detachment dares them to examine themselves, to question their own addictions to chaos, codependency, emotional drama. And most of them can't handle it. So what do? They come for your name, your character, your energy, hoping that if they throw enough shade, it will dim your light. But they never learned. Shade can't survive without light. Their efforts only prove how bright you're shining. And here's what they really can't accept. They need the version of you that needed them. The version that over-explained, overgave, stayed too long, ignored red flags. That version kept their insecurities hidden. But this version, the detached, grounded, focused you, this version forces truth to the surface. You became the reflection they weren't ready to see, and instead of facing it, they tried to break the mirror. But let them try, let them push, let them call your stillness strange, let them mock what they secretly admire, Because no matter what they throw, they can't touch your center. You've anchored too deep. You've built too much. And the storm outside no longer controls the calm within. You are not detached because you're emotionless. You are detached because you're finally aware. And when the chosen become aware, truly aware, the universe starts moving things. People fall away. Rooms get quieter. The circle shrinks. Not because you failed, but because you finally stopped shrinking. Your detachment is divine disruption, a signal, a filter, a weapon. It shows who's real, who can handle truth, who's strong enough to meet you where you are, and most can't. So don't you dare question your calm. Don't you dare explain your silence. Don't you dare fall into guilt for outgrowing the noise. Let them squirm in the discomfort of your stillness. Let them wrestle with the reflection you unintentionally hold up. You weren't made to coddle egos. You were made to hold space for truth, for growth, for something bigger. They can keep talking. But the ones who know, the ones like you, they'll see your detachment for what it is. Not the absence of feeling, but the presence of power. Number 7. You broke the game when you stopped playing. The moment you stopped reacting, their whole strategy became useless. You didn't just escape the trap, you made the trap irrelevant. So listen, chosen one, it always starts the same way. They bait you with guilt, tease you with shame, press buttons they once programmed into your emotional system. They want anger, they want tears, they want you flinching because that's where their power lives. But what happens when none of it lands? What happens when the guilt doesn't move you, the shame doesn't bite, and the emotional strings they once pulled like puppet masters go slack? The game breaks, because without your reaction, they have nothing. These manipulators don't thrive off love. They don't thrive off connection. They thrive off control. Emotional chaos is their playground, and your feelings, that's their currency. But when you detach, when you stop spending emotional energy where it's not respected, you bankrupt the whole system. You see, detachment isn't weakness. It's warfare, quiet warfare, clean warfare, the kind that doesn't need a sword because it has already claimed the victory through non-response. It's your soul's way of saying, your tactics don't work here anymore. And trust me, they feel that shift. Because their entire identity was built on your reactions, they poked and you responded. They lied and you defended yourself. They twisted facts and you tried to set the record straight. That's how the game worked. That's how they stayed relevant, by pulling you in. But then you went quiet. You stopped flinching. You stopped proving. You stopped needing them to understand anything about you. And just like that, the structure collapsed. Now they're spiraling. Now they escalate. More drama, more accusations, more desperation. They'll say anything to try to drag you back into the chaos. They'll shift from guilt to anger to victimhood in seconds, hoping one version sticks. But it never does, because you're done playing roles in stories they wrote to serve themselves. And that's what they can't handle. The loss of emotional access, the silence, the way their words bounce off you now like rubber bullets instead of piercing your peace. They used to pull strings, now they pull stunts, and every failed attempt is a loud reminder that the only power they ever had was the power you used to give them. Let that sink in. You were the power source the entire time. You were the energy they fed on. You were the ground they stood on while pretending to tower over you. But now you've pulled the plug, and without your energy, they're just noise. Loud, chaotic, powerless noise. That's why detachment is more than just distance. It's destruction. It destroys illusions. It dismantles control systems. It exposes fragility that was hiding behind fake dominance. It tears down the scaffolding of lies they built around your loyalty. And here's what most chosen ones don't realize at first. When you stop reacting, they're not just confused. They're forced to feel all the fear, the insecurity, the deep emptiness they were avoiding by distracting themselves with your emotions. It hits them. Because your detachment puts them face to face with their own lack of inner power. No more blaming, no more scapegoating, no more "you're the problem." Just the reality that without you, they're stuck with themselves. And for some of them, that's the scariest thing in the world. So let them escalate, let them shout into silence, let them throw everything at you hoping something will break through. But you hold the line. You stay still, you stay clear, you keep your energy on lock. You are no longer a participant in a game rigged against your peace. You are no longer the emotional vending machine they shake when they need validation. You are no longer available for manipulation disguised as concern. And when they ask themselves why nothing they do gets to you anymore, the answer is simple. The game is broken. Because you outgrew it. Because you saw through it. Because the moment you chose detachment, you chose sovereignty. And there's no coming back from that. This is what chosen looks like. Not loud, not reactive, not desperate to be seen or understood, but grounded, clear, whole. So let them call it cold. Let them call it cruel. Let them say, "You've changed," because you have. And that change, it's the very thing they never saw coming. You didn't just walk away. You burned the stage and took your spotlight with you. Number 8. Your calm isn't weakness, it's a language they can't speak. Calm isn't the absence of emotion, it's the presence of discipline. And you know what? They misread your silence as apathy. They see your steady eyes and think you don't feel, but your calm isn't cold, it's calculated. You're not disconnected, you're in control. That difference? It's what sets the chosen apart from the broken. You don't react, you respond. You don't flail, you observe. You don't fight every battle, you choose which ones are even worth showing up to. Your calm isn't a shutdown, it's a sharpened focus. Like a surgeon in an emergency or a soldier in combat, you think clearly when others panic. And it makes people uncomfortable. Because in a world addicted to urgency, someone who moves with intention is dangerous. You are like Hestia, the flame that doesn't flicker with every gust of wind. You keep steady, and by doing so, you reveal how chaotic everyone else truly is. Your peace acts like a mirror, one that reflects the inner storms of people who haven't built that same stillness. You're like Sherlock Holmes too, not distant but dialed in. Your detachment isn't escape, it's elevation. While they spiral, you analyze. While they chase attention, you move in silence. While they react, you calculate. Your distance gives you vision, clarity, strategy. And in relationships, your calm repels the chaotic and attracts the authentic. Because energy leeches can't feed off what doesn't flinch. They need drama to survive, and you starve it. That's what they'll never understand. Your calm isn't lack of feeling, it's emotional self-mastery. You're not numb. You've just built something stronger than most people ever will. Inner authority. And that makes you powerful in every room you walk into. So when they call you cold, distant, hard to read, remember, they're just speaking the language of the uncontrolled. You've moved beyond reacting for validation. You've stopped being baited by emotional noise. You've mastered the quiet, and in that quiet lies dominance. They don't get it, and they don't have to, because calmness isn't submission, it's proof that you've already won. Number 9. Your detachment is the mirror they can't shatter. You didn't expose them. They saw themselves in your silence, and that was enough. And listen, chosen one, they think you're avoiding them, that you walked away to escape the chaos, but they've got it twisted. You didn't run, you evolved, and your evolution demands detachment. You're not reacting to their dysfunction. You're not rising to every jab, every guilt trip, every emotional outburst. And that's not because you don't care, it's because you finally care enough about yourself not to play the game. And that silence, that distance, it burns them, because it turns your presence into a mirror. And that mirror doesn't lie. It reflects their emotional mess, their unhealed patterns, their manipulative tactics, and it does it all without a single word. You're not judging them, but your growth feels like judgment. You're not exposing them, but your detachment pulls the mask off every performance they put on. They can't escape it, so they lash out, or go quiet, or disappear. But deep down, they're watching, studying, obsessed with how someone like you can stand so tall without clinging to approval, without chasing validation, without breaking under pressure. And here's what they'll never admit. They admire it, even as they resent it. Because you've done what they're too afraid to do, disconnect from chaos and find power in peace. You've walked away, not just from people, but from patterns, from cycles, from systems that demanded your silence in exchange for belonging. And now, you belong to yourself. That's what makes you untouchable. Chosen ones weren't made to be controlled. You were made to awaken. And when you detach, you do more than leave toxic energy behind. You trigger awakening in others. Not always welcomed, not always pretty, but always necessary. So don't confuse your stillness with invisibility. Don't mistake your distance for weakness. You're not fading, you're reflecting. You're showing people exactly who they are without ever raising your voice. And for some, that's too much truth to bear. You didn't start the fire, you just stopped putting it out. Now they're left standing in the smoke, forced to choose, grow or burn. And now you see it. Your detachment was never the problem. It was the revelation, the shift, the silent revolution that exposed everything false around you. You didn't lose anything by walking away. You reclaimed everything they tried to drain. This is the power of being chosen. Calm in the chaos, clarity in confusion, untouchable in truth. If this message hit different, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to let others know you're walking in your power. Share this with another chosen one who needs the reminder, because when one awakens, we all rise.